Good day to you, all you walrus, Chesapeake, xenomorph wranglers, I guess. It is your friendly neighborhood Kamikalo Z, Kenny, coming at you live via recording that I did earlier today. Um, I'm, oh gosh, I had an okay day yesterday. It wasn't like the bestest day in the world, but it was an okay day. Um, it was one of those days where I just gave myself a whole bunch of stuff to do, like a whole bunch of tasks, and some of them were not the funnest. No, not really the funnest. Um, I had little room for error, and I guess you could say the fun, not the funnest, because sometimes messing up is a lot of fun. Um, but but one of the things that I do is for stress relief is I cry, and that's not like I'm not looking for pity or someone to reach out. It's just the best way that I find to get rid of stress. So every few weeks I will take an evening for myself and I'll watch like soldiers returning home videos to trigger sobbing uncontrollably for an hour. And then when I go to sleep, the next morning I wake up and I just feel great. I feel very refreshed. Quite the opposite than if you laugh yourself to sleep, where you wake up just in the throes of pain. I've actually woken myself up from laughing in the middle of a dream, and that's fun. But I can't ever remember after I've woken up what I was laughing about, so it just makes me feel like a madman. Anyway, so yeah, yesterday was a bunch of tasks that didn't have much room for error, and so stress was getting high, and usually I compartmentalize my stress so that I don't really have to deal with it all at once. But once the compartmentalization becomes stressful in and of itself, it becomes a bit counterintuitive and counterproductive. So yeah, I was able to get rid of a lot of that yesterday, which is great because yeah, I am. I think I said in a previous video that I'm an introvert's introvert. Like, yeah, I like staying in the house, but when I'm in the house, I like staying within myself. Like, thinking is something that I do a lot. And so, uh, this kind of scenario with the COVID-19 stuff is just, I don't know, it's forcing me to that place a little bit more often than I like to be. Um, However, I have mentioned I have this trail back here, and people are staying pretty active on it. In fact, I was going to go for a hike today, but a lot of the parks that I'm looking up, they say they're open, but they're full. Um, and some of the ones near to where I'm living right now, like Lake Pleasant, is just, I don't know, 5 or 10 miles north of me. And I drove there last week with my pop, and it was the north side was completely full, and they had a roadblock going on where every car that came down, they let one go up, and if one wasn't coming down, you just kind of sat there in the line. And then on the south side, it was also full, but they weren't doing any kind of um, police regulation enforcement going on because there was just nowhere to park. You'd drive in, go to the parking lot, drive around, realize there's nowhere to park, and leave. And so, yeah, everyone took the whole stay inside mandate to gather together in nature. Um, and everyone else had the same idea I did. That was, okay, I'm stuck inside. And the only thing I can do to be out and away from people is to go out into nature. But when everyone else goes to the same place, it kind of defeats the purpose. So I was going to go on a hike. I'm not going to anymore. I was going to wait until next week to like really like knuckle down and lift a bunch of weights. But I think I'm going to try to exhaust myself today because my arms aren't sore anymore from lifting on Monday, and my legs have mostly recovered. And I haven't gone for a walk today yet. I think that'll be the last thing that I do because I think it takes the least amount of energy. So I'm going to lift a whole bunch and wear myself out, and then try to enjoy the sun out here. I have a little reclining chair here, and some nice sunshine with some scattered clouds. It could rain in the next day or two. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. And I figured that I would explain a little bit as to um, why when I greet and when I do my send off, I talk, I kind of steal the Spider-Man line, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood's Kamikalo Z. I really like Spider-Man as a comic book character. He's not my favorite, but there are a lot of things about him that I really like. I believe he's the one who recruited the Hulk to join the Avengers, because nobody else could beat him, could beat the Hulk, and Hulk was just being Hulk things, and you can't really reason with the Hulk. So Spider-Man shows up, puts him in a whole bunch of webs so he can't move, and then says, we need you, so you want to be like best buddies? And Hulk's like, okay. And that's how Hulk joins. Also, Stephen King had agreed to have an origin story for Roland printed out in graphic novels from Marvel. And so you can go and see like origin stories for the Gunslinger from the Dark Tower series. Those are available. And in an interview with Stephen King, they asked him, what if you could write about any Marvel hero, who would it be? And he said Spider-Man, because Spider-Man has one of the most overpowered power sets in the universe, and yet he has a very poor paying job. He has a horrible love life experience. Everyone around him that he loves keeps dying, and so the angst of being so overpowered but not able to do anything about it. He eventually sees Spider-Man and ending up in like an insane asylum where he's in a constant state of panic because of the claustrophobia he feels from the tightness of his suit and the stickiness of his web. And I thought that was very interesting. And I like Stephen King as a writer quite a bit, and his way of telling stories. And so, yeah, I have a lot of respect for him and his opinion. I really like. Yeah, my favorite comic book character though is Batman. I love how dark and mysterious the character is. Like the old Batman from comics was very different than the majority of the Hollywood versions that you see. Actually, up until Ben Affleck's Batman, Michael Keaton was my favorite Batman, because if you go back and watch, Michael Keaton's Batman kills people, and in the comics, Batman kills people. Actually, kills a lot of people. There are even a few arc stories where the cops get in the way of what Batman's doing, and Batman permanently injures police officers for getting in his way. He's not a if you need me, I'll be there. He's a I'm gonna be there, stay out of my way kind of guy. And he's a hero of his own, not really for the city necessarily, at least from the city's perspective. Anyway, so today is just a day of regaining back a lot of good motivation for this upcoming week. I started teaching a couple friends how to do software testing, and those videos will be hopefully steadily uploaded along with these over the next few days, and maybe even break off into doing one-on-one trainings with them. But it's a good day. It's a nice day. Like it's not as sunny as it's been because of the cloud cover, but it's still nice and warm. Got zero complaints about it. And yeah, not a really super long video today. Sorry for that. Uh, but yeah, I've this morning so far. What I've been doing is I've been watching Critical Role. They're a group of voice actors and cosplayers that get together and play like Dungeons and Dragons and other games. And it's a lot of fun because they're all very invested in storytelling, and so they try to put on a good show for everyone, which is very interesting. A lot, all their characters that they make are just super involved, a lot of depth to them, and they have a lot of fun. And the campaigns are long; they are super long, but they're very entertaining. And so I was watching just one of their one shots today. It's almost done. It's about a 4.5, 5 hour long, about grog, find grog or recover grog or something. Um, and they're right there at the end, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. But I wanted to get this video out to you, let you know I'm doing well, despite crying a bunch last night. I'm doing well. Um, and I was trying to find the video, and I failed to find it. But there was a there's a I think he was an admiral who gave a an address at a graduation. I think it was a college graduation, and he talks about 10 steps that you do to succeed in life. And the first one is to start off with a small victory, accomplish something first thing in the morning to motivate and propel you through the day, and don't be alone, find help, and a bunch of other steps. But I remember the first time I saw this, he talks a lot about failure for the last half. The last 5 steps are about dealing with failure. And something that hit me, and I thought he said it, but I couldn't find it. I rewatched it last night, and I couldn't find him saying it. But the main pull away that I had from watching it was that failure is always an option, and that thought, that idea, really hit me hard, because it's absolutely correct. And in anything that you do, there's always an option to fail, always an option to not succeed. Um, and it's a choice is the thing, and that's the main point of it, is that failing most of the time isn't something that you don't choose. It's something very real that you have to make the decision on, right? If you're following a diet, you choose to fail following the diet by moving away from it. If your goal is to get a master's degree, the person that'll stand most in the way of you doing that is you. It could have something to do with love life. If you're looking to become a more suitable partner or more agreeable person to be around, you also stand in your own way of doing that. And so it was a very strong thought that I had, and I even made it my desktop wallpaper on my computer. Just got a black canvas with "failure is always an option" on it to remind me that every day you have a series of choices, and those choices affect goals and promises that you've made to yourself and others. And some of the choices are hard. They're very tough. You really don't want to deal with some things some days, and you gotta take the little victories. Gotta take the little moments to pat yourself on the back and say you did a good job, and to use that and move forward to continue to make good decisions. Anyway, during this time, it's really easy to get so cabin feverish and get so locked up inside that you just want to go out and find someone to interact with. It doesn't matter who it is. And I'm going to urge you strongly to not. Try your best not to. If you put in a lot of work to staying isolated and quarantined, failure is still an option. And unfortunately, the failure of this can have a much higher impact on you than you might otherwise be willing to sign up for. So stay strong, be well, stay happy, find weird crap to do. Okay, I don't even care what it is. Find, like, you ever see the TV show Community? Like, dedicate a room in your house to being an imaginatorium, where you put like tape up in a grid to kind of overlap and say, okay, this is now space, and I'm a starfighter for uh, Fleet Command or something. If you've got a bunch of boxes, make something. Make a submarine, right? Another throwback to Community there. Just do something. Be weird. Don't be afraid to not be weird. I sat out here last night and I sang show tunes at the top of my lungs. Don't care if anyone heard me. Don't care if people thought it was embarrassing. Totally cool with that. Kept me entertained, kept me happy, kept me positive, and right now your own mental health is really the key. So yeah, stay happy, be well, be creative. Remember that failure is always an option. Keep that in mind to make sure that you don't take that option. Okay, that's it for me today. Your friendly neighborhood Kamika signing off here. Kenny, be well and live long and prosper.